My name is Marie Miller, and 3 days after burying my husband of 9 years, I stood in my sister's backyard watching her blow out candles on a cake shaped like a fire truck while she announced to 50 people that my late husband's life insurance payout, $2.3 million, rightfully belonged to her. Not half, all of it. Because according to the notarized document she waved in the air like a trophy, my husband Daniel had changed his beneficiary 2 weeks before he died. Changed it from me to her, from his wife to his sister-in-law. The guests gasped. My mother covered her mouth. My father went pale. And me? I tried very, very hard not to smile. Because what my sister Rachel didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that Daniel died instantly in a construction accident. No warning, no time to change anything. The notarized document she was holding was created 4 days after his death. I knew this because I'd already reported it to the insurance company, the police, and a federal investigator who specialized in insurance fraud. But I hadn't told Rachel. I wanted to watch her commit the crime in public first. If you're watching this from somewhere where family takes more than they give, where grief gets weaponized into opportunity, take a moment to like and subscribe. Because what happened next didn't just expose my sister, it destroyed her. Let me start from the beginning. Daniel Miller wasn't just my husband. He was my best friend since high school, my partner through college, the person who made me laugh during chemotherapy when I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer at 23. We married at 25 in a courthouse ceremony because I was mid-treatment and didn't know if I'd see 26. He held my hand through every surgery, every setback, every moment I wanted to quit. "You're not dying on me, Marie," he'd said during my lowest point. "I've got plans for us, big plans." I survived. The cancer went into remission. We bought a small house in Portland, Oregon, nothing fancy, but ours. Daniel worked as a civil engineer, specializing in bridge infrastructure. I became a pediatric physical therapist, working with kids who'd survived accidents or illness. We built a quiet, intentional life. No children. The cancer treatment had made that impossible. But we had each other. We had our work. We had our Saturday morning farmers market runs and our Sunday hikes in the gorge. My sister Rachel was always in the periphery of our happiness. 2 years younger than me at 31, Rachel had what I'd always thought was a charmed life. She was beautiful in that effortless way that turned heads, charismatic enough to talk her way into or out of anything, and completely unable to hold down a job for more than 6 months. She'd cycle through careers like outfits, marketing coordinator, real estate agent, event planner, boutique manager. Each time there was a reason it didn't work out. The boss was threatened by her, the clients were difficult, the commission structure was unfair. Our parents, Linda and Tom, enabled every pivot. Rent money here, car payment there, just until she finds her feeding, Mom would say. Rachel got pregnant at 30 by a man named Derek she'd been dating for 3 months. He disappeared the moment she told him. Our parents threw her a lavish baby shower. I showed up with a handmade quilt and a college savings bond for my nephew. Lucas was born healthy and beautiful. Rachel seemed overwhelmed by motherhood from day one, calling me at odd hours to complain about sleep deprivation or asking me to babysit on short notice. Daniel and I helped when we could. We bought diapers, watched Lucas during her emergency nights out, and sent money when she claimed she couldn't make rent. "She's struggling," Daniel would say. "Single mom life is hard." "She's always struggling because everyone keeps catching her," I'd reply. But Daniel had a soft heart, especially for family. 6 weeks ago, Daniel was on site at a bridge inspection in Salem when a crane malfunctioned, sent a steel beam through the safety zone. He died instantly. No suffering, the medical examiner said. as if that made it better. The funeral was a blur. I stood at the front of the church in a black dress I'd bought the day before, shaking hands with people whose names I'd forget immediately, accepting condolences that felt like weights being added to my chest. Rachel attended with Lucas. She cried during the service, real tears, I think, and hugged me afterward. "I'm so sorry, Marie," she said, her voice breaking. "Daniel was such a good man. If you need anything at all, I'm here." I nodded, unable to speak. 3 days later, she texted me. "Lucas's first birthday party is Sunday. I know it's soon, but I already booked everything. I'd love for you to come. Daniel would want you to be there." I almost said no. Who celebrates a birthday 3 days after a funeral? But my therapist had told me not to isolate. My mother had texted that morning saying it would help me heal to be around family. So I went. Rachel's rental house in Beaverton had been transformed into a children's party wonderland. Red and blue balloons, a bouncy castle, a dessert table that must have cost $800 minimum. Lucas toddled around in a tiny firefighter costume, oblivious to the adults milling around with drinks and small talk. I arrived 20 minutes late, wearing jeans and a plain sweater. No one expected me to look put together. My mother hugged me too tightly. "I'm so proud of you for coming, honey." My father squeezed my shoulder. Daniel would be proud too. Rachel swept over in a sundress that probably cost more than my mortgage payment. Lucas balanced on her hip. "Marie, you made it!" She kissed my cheek, her perfume overwhelming. "Come get a drink. We're about to do cake." I followed her to the backyard where 50 people, friends, neighbors, distant relatives, had gathered around a folding table with a fire truck cake. Rachel placed Lucas in his high chair, handed him a small smash cake, and picked up a microphone connected to a portable speaker. "Everyone, thank you so much for coming to celebrate my baby boy's first birthday." Applause. Lucas smeared frosting on his face. "This year has been so hard," Rachel continued, her voice wavering. "Being a single mom, losing my brother-in-law Daniel just days ago." She looked at me. "Marie, I can't imagine what you're going through." People murmured sympathetically. "But Daniel," Rachel said, her voice strengthening, "was always so generous, always thinking of Lucas, of our future. And before he died, he made sure we'd be taken care of." My stomach dropped. She reached into a bag beside the table and pulled out a manila envelope. 2 weeks before the accident, Daniel changed his life insurance beneficiary from Marie to me and Lucas. Gasps rippled through the crowd. She pulled out a document, holding it up. "This is the notarized form. Daniel wanted to make sure his nephew would be provided for. The policy is worth $2.3 million. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My father's face went white. Rachel looked directly at me, her expression a perfect mask of sorrowful responsibility. "I know this is hard to hear, Marie, but Daniel's wishes were clear. The insurance company confirmed it this morning. The money is being transferred to me as the rightful beneficiary." The backyard went silent, except for Lucas babbling and smacking his cake. Everyone stared at me, waiting for a reaction. Shock, tears, anger. I took a slow sip of my water. Then I set the cup down and met Rachel's eyes. "That's interesting," I said, my voice steady, "especially since Daniel died on March 14th, and that form was notarized on March 18th. Rachel's smile froze. "I'm sorry, what?" "The beneficiary form you're holding, it's dated 4 days after Daniel's death, which means it's not just fake, it's insurance fraud." The color drained from her face. "That's ridiculous. You're grieving. You're confused about dates." "I'm not confused." I pulled out my phone. "The insurance company already flagged your submission as fraudulent. So did the State Insurance Fraud Division. I filed a report on Monday." Whispers erupted around us. "You filed a report?" Rachel's voice cracked. "Against me? Against whoever forged my husband's signature on a legal document to steal $2.3 million. That just happens to be you." My father stepped forward.
Marie, maybe we should discuss this privately. No, I didn't look away from Rachel. She announced this publicly. She wanted witnesses. So now she gets to explain publicly how she forged a beneficiary form, found a corrupt notary to backdate it, and submitted it to an insurance company 4 days after my husband died. Rachel's hands were shaking. I didn't forge anything. Daniel signed this. He wanted Lucas to have... Name the notary, I said. What? The notary on that form. Name them. Tell me their office address. Tell me what day Daniel supposedly went there. She looked at the document, her eyes scanning desperately. I don't remember the exact... Because there is no notary. Because Daniel never signed that. Because you created it after he died, and you thought I'd be too grief-stricken to notice. My mother was crying now. Not for me, for Rachel. Rachel, please tell me this isn't true, Mom said. Rachel's face crumpled. I needed the money. Do you know how expensive it is to raise a child alone? I'm drowning in debt. Daniel would have wanted to help. Daniel did help. He bought Lucas gifts. He babysat. He sent you money when you claimed you couldn't make rent. But he didn't leave you his life insurance policy. He left it to me, his wife. You don't even need it. You have your job. You have the house. What was I supposed to do? Not commit federal fraud would be a good start. The party disintegrated within minutes. Guests made awkward excuses and left. My parents tried to mediate, but I walked away mid-sentence. Rachel stood alone by the cake table, still holding the forged document, tears streaming down her face. I went home and opened my laptop. The truth was, I'd known about Rachel's plan for 5 days. The insurance company had called me Monday morning, 3 days after Daniel's funeral. Mrs. Miller, this is David Park from Pacific Life Insurance. We need to verify something regarding your husband's policy. What is it? We received a beneficiary change form dated 2 weeks before Mr. Miller's death. It changes the beneficiary from you to Rachel Sutton. Is that your sister? My blood went cold. Yes, but Daniel never changed the beneficiary. The form has his signature and a notary seal. It's fake. Daniel died suddenly. He had no warning. He didn't have time to change anything. And even if he had, he would have told me. There was a pause. Mrs. Miller, if you're alleging fraud, we'll need to investigate before processing any claim. Investigate everything. I'll cooperate fully. I hung up and immediately called my lawyer, Jennifer O'Coffer, who'd handled Daniel's estate planning. Rachel submitted a forged beneficiary form, I said without preamble. Are you certain? Positive. The form is dated March 1st. Daniel and I were together that entire day. We went to couples therapy in the morning, had lunch at our favorite ramen place, and spent the evening at home. He didn't go to a notary. He didn't sign anything. Do you have proof of that timeline? Therapy appointment in our shared calendar, credit card receipts from lunch, Ring doorbell footage showing we were home all evening. Jennifer was quiet for a moment. Marie, if you're right, this is serious. Life insurance fraud is a federal offense. I know. That's why I'm calling you. Over the next 4 days, Jennifer and I built a case that would make Rachel's fraud impossible to deny. First, we contacted the notary listed on the form. The name was Sandra Whitmore, Oregon Notary Public License, number 47829. There was no such notary. The license number didn't exist in the state database. Second, we examined the document itself. Jennifer hired a forensic document examiner who confirmed the signature was forged using a sample from our wedding certificate, which Rachel had a copy of. The paper was consumer grade, not the security paper insurance companies use. The file metadata showed it was created on March 18th, 4 days after Daniel's death. Third, we established Daniel's timeline on March 1st. 9 a.m., couples therapy session, confirmed by therapist. 12:30 p.m., lunch at Biwa Ramen, credit card receipt, restaurant surveillance footage. 2 to 7 p.m., home, Ring doorbell footage, neighbor saw us in yard. 7 p.m., grocery shopping together, receipt, store cameras. Daniel never went near a notary's office. He was with me all day. Fourth, we investigated Rachel's financial situation. Her bank records, subpoenaed through the insurance fraud investigation, showed $47,000 in credit card debt, $8,000 overdue rent, multiple payday loans, $2,300 spent on Lucas's birthday party, booked the day after Daniel died. She was desperate. The party wasn't celebration, it was a spending spree she expected to fund with stolen money. Finally, we found her accomplice. Rachel's best friend, Tanya Morrison, worked as a part-time receptionist at a law office. She had access to notary seals and legal letterhead.
Phone records showed Rachel and Tanya exchanged 47 texts in the 3 days after Daniel's death, including one that said, "Did you finish the thing? I need it by Monday." The insurance company forwarded everything to the Oregon Department of Justice Insurance Fraud Unit. By the time Rachel made her birthday party announcement, the investigation was already underway. I'd just let her dig herself deeper. Sunday night, party day. After I left the party, Rachel called me 17 times. I didn't answer. She left voicemails. "Marie, I swear I didn't know the form was fake. Someone must have tricked me. Please, we need to talk. I can explain everything. You're really going to destroy your sister over money?" I forwarded all of them to Jennifer. Monday morning, the insurance company called Rachel to inform her that her claim was denied and under investigation. She called me immediately. "They're saying I committed fraud. This is insane." "Is it?" "Marie, please, drop the investigation. I'll give back the form. We can forget this happened." "The form is evidence in a criminal case now. There's no giving it back." "Criminal case? Are you serious?" "Life insurance fraud is a federal crime. Prison time, Rachel. Years of it." She started crying. "I have a son. You're going to put Lucas's mother in prison?" "You're going to put Lucas's mother in prison. I'm just reporting a crime." She hung up. Tuesday, my mother called. "Marie, please, Rachel made a mistake. Can't you find it in your heart to forgive her? She's family." "She tried to steal $2.3 million from me using my dead husband's forged signature 3 days after his funeral. That's not a mistake, Mom. That's a felony." "She's desperate. She has debt. She needs help." "Then she should have asked for help, not committed fraud." "You're being cruel." "I'm being legal. There's a difference." Wednesday. Federal investigators interviewed Rachel for 6 hours. She tried to blame Tanya, claiming she didn't know the form was fake, but the text messages between them told a different story. "I need Daniel's signature. Can you copy it from the wedding certificate?" "Are you sure? This is risky." "Marie won't check. She's too sad." She planned it, meticulously. Thursday. Rachel was arrested at her house, charged with wire fraud, federal, insurance fraud, state, forgery, state, identity theft, federal. Bail was set at $50,000. My parents scrambled to pay it. Friday. Rachel's lawyer called me, a young public defender who sounded exhausted. "Mrs. Miller, I need to be honest. Your sister's case is very bad. The evidence is overwhelming. The prosecution is offering a plea deal. 18 months minimum security, restitution of $15,000 in investigation costs, 5 years probation. And if she doesn't take it, she goes to trial. If convicted, she's looking at up to 30 years federal. What do you want from me?" "A victim impact statement supporting leniency. You're the person she wronged. If you ask for mercy, the judge might reduce the sentence." I was quiet for a long moment. "Tell Rachel I'll consider it if she does 3 things. Admits what she did publicly, apologizes to my husband's memory, and never contact me again." Those are conditions. Those are terms. Rachel agreed to meet me, at a neutral location, a conference room at Jennifer's law office. She arrived looking destroyed. No makeup, hair in a greasy ponytail, eyes swollen from crying. Jennifer set up a recording device. This meeting is being recorded per Oregon's one-party consent law. Do you consent to being recorded, Miss Sutton? Rachel nodded weakly. I need verbal confirmation. Yes, I consent. Jennifer pressed record and left the room, giving us privacy but legal documentation. Rachel looked at me across the table. I'm so sorry, Marie. For what, specifically? For everything. For the form, for the party, for lying. Say it plainly. What did you do? Her hands twisted in her lap. I forged Daniel's signature on a life insurance beneficiary form and submitted it to the insurance company to steal $2.3 million from you. Why? Because I'm broke. Because I'm drowning. Because I thought you wouldn't notice or you wouldn't care because you have your job and the house and I was grieving my husband, so you thought I'd be too broken to fight back. Yes. Did you think about what Daniel would say if he knew? He would hate me. Yes, he would. Tears streamed down her face. I don't know who I've become. I used to be better than this. No, Rachel, this is who you've always been. You just usually got away with it. She looked up sharply. You've been taking advantage of people your whole life. Mom and Dad bail you out constantly. I helped with rent, diapers, babysitting. Daniel sent you money whenever you asked. We all enabled you because you're struggling. But you know what? Everyone struggles. Most people don't commit felonies about it. I know. Do you? Because even now, in this room, you're performing remorse. You're crying and saying you're sorry, but you're really just sorry you got caught. That's not true. Then why did you announce it at Lucas's birthday party? Why make a public spectacle? Why humiliate me in front of 50 people? She didn't answer. I'll tell you why. Because you wanted witnesses. You wanted everyone to see that Daniel chose Lucas over me, that even in death, I came second. That was the point, wasn't it? The money, sure, but also the humiliation, the proof that you finally won. I didn't think of it that way. Yes, you did. You've been competing with me since we were kids. I got into college, you dropped out. I survived cancer, you got pregnant to get attention. I built a marriage, you wanted to destroy it, even posthumously. Rachel was sobbing now, ugly crying that shook her whole body. I watched her, without sympathy. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to take the plea deal. You're going to serve 18 months. When you get out, you'll never contact me again. Not on birthdays, not at holidays, not at family events. I'm done. What about Lucas? What about him? He's your nephew. He's innocent in this. He is. And your parents will make sure he's taken care of while you're in prison. But I'm not responsible for your son, Rachel. You are. And you failed him the moment you committed fraud instead of asking for help. Marie, please. I'll submit a victim impact statement supporting the plea deal. That's the mercy you get. But don't mistake mercy for forgiveness. I'll never forgive you. I stood and left. Jennifer was waiting in the hallway. How do you feel? Empty, I said, but lighter.
6 weeks later, Rachel pled guilty to wire fraud and insurance fraud. The judge accepted the plea deal, 18 months in federal prison, $15,000 restitution, 5 years probation. During sentencing, the prosecutor read my victim impact statement.
Rachel Sutton targeted me at my most vulnerable. She weaponized my grief, forged my husband's name, and attempted to steal $2.3 million. She didn't just commit fraud, she desecrated my husband's memory. While I don't support maximum sentencing, I believe accountability is necessary. Rachel needs consequences, not coddling. Perhaps prison will teach her what our family never did. Actions have repercussions. The judge agreed. Miss Sutton, you committed a calculated crime against someone in mourning. That shows a profound lack of character. I'm accepting the plea because Mrs. Miller has requested leniency. But make no mistake, if you were going to trial, I'd push for the maximum. Rachel cried. My mother cried. My father looked like he'd aged 10 years. I sat in the gallery, stone-faced. Rachel was transferred to FCI Dublin, a low-security federal prison in California. My parents begged me to visit her. "She's your sister," Mom said. "Family forgives." "No," I replied. "Family respects boundaries. She chose fraud, I chose peace." They stopped asking. Tanya Morrison, Rachel's accomplice, was charged with conspiracy to commit fraud and notary misconduct. She pled guilty and received 2 years probation plus a $10,000 fine. Her notary license was revoked permanently. I received a letter from Rachel, prison mail, carefully screened. "Dear Marie, I don't expect you to respond. I just need to say this. You were right. About everything. I've spent a year thinking about who I've become and why. Therapy here has helped me see patterns I couldn't before. The entitlement, the competition, the belief that I deserved things without earning them. What I did to you was unforgivable. I know that. I don't ask for forgiveness. But I want you to know that I'm working on becoming someone Daniel wouldn't hate, someone Lucas won't be ashamed of. I'm sorry. Not because I got caught, because I hurt you. Rachel." I read it twice. Then I put it in a drawer and didn't respond. Maybe one day I would. Maybe not. March 14th, 2026. 1 year after Daniel's death. I stood at Daniel's grave with a bouquet of sunflowers, his favorite. The headstone was simple. Daniel Miller, 1991 to 2024. Beloved husband, friend, engineer. You're not dying on me. I've got plans for us. I knelt and traced the engraving with my finger. Hey, love, it's been a year. The cemetery was quiet, except for birds and distant traffic. Rachel is in prison. I know you'd probably hate that I didn't fight harder for leniency, but I couldn't. She tried to steal from us, from you, and I had to protect what you left me. Not just the money, your memory. I placed the flowers at the base of the stone. I used some of the insurance money to start a scholarship fund for kids who survived cancer. The Daniel Miller Memorial Scholarship for STEM students. First recipient starts college this fall. Tears blurred my vision. I wish you were here. I wish you could see what I'm building. I wish I could hear you laugh one more time. The wind rustled the trees. But I'm okay. I'm surviving. And I'm making sure your name means something good. Not what Rachel tried to make it, a tool for fraud, but what it always was. Kindness, generosity, love. I stood and wiped my eyes. I love you, Daniel. I'll always love you. I walked back to my car. Present day. My apartment is smaller than the house Daniel and I shared. I sold the house. Too many memories, too much space for one person.
On my wall, 3 things are framed. The forged beneficiary form with evidence, insurance fraud case number 2024OR4829, stamped across it. Photo of Daniel and me at the Columbia River Gorge, his arm around me, both of us laughing. First scholarship award letter to Emma Rodriguez, 18, ovarian cancer survivor, studying biomedical engineering. I work, I hike, I volunteer at the pediatric oncology ward. I don't speak to Rachel. I speak to my parents occasionally, stiff, formal conversations about weather and logistics. But mostly I speak to the family I'm building. Friends who showed up during the trial, coworkers who sent food when I couldn't cook, neighbors who checked in without asking for updates. Last week, I went on a first date. His name is James. He's a librarian. He knows about Daniel, about Rachel, about everything. That's a lot, he said after I explained. It is? Too much? No, just real. And I appreciate real. We're seeing each other again next week. It's not love, not yet, maybe not ever, but it's a step forward. 3 days after my husband's funeral, my sister announced at a children's birthday party that she was entitled to his $2.3 million life insurance policy. She had a forged beneficiary form, a fake notary seal, a carefully rehearsed speech. What she didn't have was the truth. Daniel never changed his beneficiary. He never signed that form. He was with me the entire day she claimed he visited a notary. I knew the document was fake the moment the insurance company called me. But I didn't stop her. I let her announce it publicly. I let her incriminate herself in front of 50 witnesses. I let her believe she'd won. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't stopping the crime, it's documenting it. Rachel served 18 months in federal prison. She lost custody of Lucas temporarily. She'll carry a felony conviction for life. My parents enabled her right up until the handcuffs clicked. And me? I honored Daniel by building something that mattered. A scholarship, a memorial, a boundary. If your family mistakes your grief for weakness, if someone tries to weaponize your loss for their gain, if they think you're too broken to fight back, remember this: grief doesn't make you weak. It makes you careful. And careful people, we document everything. Would you have reported your sister? Would you have let the party happen or stopped it before? Would you have shown mercy at sentencing or pushed for the maximum? Tell me in the comments, because some of you are being targeted right now by people who think your sadness makes you vulnerable. It doesn't. It makes you vigilant. Let them think you're weak. Let them plan. Let them act. Then let the evidence speak.